Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So, sister, do you hear or do you listen? What's the difference? Do you listen? Do you listen? Let's talk about first, do you hear? Right now, you're hearing this podcast. You're hearing my voice. You might even hear the car that's driving by in a moment as I'm walking my dogs early this morning and it's dark. There you go. There's the car, right? You're hearing these things. You're aware of the sounds around you. Listening, my definition of listening is entirely different. Listening is when you truly hear. Listening is when someone is telling you something and you are only with that person. I'm getting better at listening to my children. And there'll be times when I would hear them. Mommy, I'm asking you to ask me for something or tell me something. Like, yeah, buddy, I hear you. But now, when my children are speaking to me, I'm actually realizing that I really need to be listening. That I stop what I'm doing and I look at my boys and I crouch down at their level. And maybe I hold their little hands. Like I'm right there with them. Right there with them. So I had an experience when I was in Laguna Beach. We're talking a lot about the lessons that I learned from listening to these 10 incredible women that went through Shield Maiden 2.0. It's a coaching program that I'm part of. And I was down to assist my coach, Satema. And so it was experience on so it was 3.5 days. It was the second full day. And the girls were working out. Sisters were working out. Very intense workouts. And one of them started to have a panic attack. And I'm like, okay. And the first thing I thought, because there was another one there that had asthma, she's like grabbing her puffer. And so I said to the sister, I'm like, do you have asthma? And she's like shaking her head, but she has her hands over her throat. Kind of that universal sign for like, I'm choking or I can't breathe. Now, I knew in my mind, as soon as she's like, no, I'm like, it's not physical. It's not physical what she's experiencing. What she's going through in her body right now, it's all because of the story that she believes to be true. And the emotions that are coming up. See, when you push your body physically, emotions will surface. It's difficult, by the way. It's the second podcast I've recorded, walking my dogs. So if you hear me having a breath out, I live in an area in BC that has lots of hills, which is awesome. I love it. But yeah, it's a new skill, walking and podcasting. So with this particular sister, she comes over to me and she's like, I can't breathe. And it's that kind of like, I can't breathe. Like, she's like, my throat's closing up. So as I kind of realized in my mind that, she's more like having a panic attack, right? An emotional, mental place, a story that's allowing you to think a certain way. Your body's like, holy shit, we're shutting down. And listen, if you experience a panic attack, like, I get it, it's real. It's not something you make up. But it's something that your physical body begins to respond to because of a story that you have in your head. I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed. I'm not good enough. He doesn't love me. And so when this happened, I walk over to her because I was there to help to coach as well too, and inspiring the women and supporting the women. And I walk over to her. Good morning. And I took her hands one at a time and had them place them right over her heart. And I listened. Number one, I listened to the voice, which was just like, stay with her right now. Now the other part of me was like, holy shit, what if she's having an allergic reaction right now to something? Going in anaphylactic shock. So I I'm trying to casually look around without panicking her. So I kind of look, and this is all happening like very quickly. I look over my left shoulder, nobody. So Satem is there. Nick, who's his head marketing dude, he's filming everything. And then the coach, Christine, who's helping out. Look at my left shoulder, nobody. I look at my right shoulder, nobody. And the sisters behind me are like, they're doing their thing. They were running and planking, running and planking, running and planking until we said done. So I realized, I'm like, this is on me right now. This is it. I need to be with her. I need to listen. So the things I started saying to her were not like a premeditated thing. It was just like, so I had her put her hands over her heart, and my hands were over hers, and we were standing. And I just said to her, and I looked into her eyes. I actually get kind of emotional as I'm telling this story, because the power that you have to take your thoughts and to realize that they are just stories is so fucking powerful. Because everything shifted for this amazing woman, this mother, this wife, this teacher. And so she had her hands over her heart, my hands on top of it. I looked like deep into her eyes because I was like, this is it. And the voice was like, just be with her. And so these words came through my mouth. I looked at her and I just said, your breath comes easily and freely. Your breath comes easily and freely. My breath comes easily and freely. She started to kind of like, I could see that look in her eyes where she's like, still panicky, but she's like, I'm gonna be okay. So she could begin to speak again. I just said, say this with me. My breath comes easily and freely. My breath comes easily and freely. My breath comes easily and freely. And I would just say to her in tune, I'm like, you got this. You're okay. You're strong. My breath comes easily and freely. My breath comes easily and freely. And it's only because I listened in that moment that this was able to happen. Now it's funny because later in the week, the Friday, we're all dressed up, we're having dinner. And one of them would ask me a different question. It's like, yeah, because, so-and-so told me what happened. And, you've got some kind of magic touch, or so I know that I'm a former chiropractor. And I was like, the question she was asking, like, God, I don't know. No idea. But it had nothing to do with my experience as a chiropractor. It had nothing to do with all the years of serving people, 15 years as a chiropractor, my education. It all came down to me just listening. When I connect with my children at times, I am listening. When I hear my husband's frustration about something and I choose not to react, which is difficult, I'm listening. I'm listening. So are you listening or are you hearing? And the experience in life, sister, when you really begin to listen, will absolutely shift. Listen to others. Listen to the voice, that inner guidance, that knowing. and really listen into what you want. So here's your more tip for today. For the next 24 hours, whomever that you interact with, your children, your husband, your clients, your employees, a stranger, your family, a friend, I want you to really listen. Listen. Write down a Post-it note. Have a whole bunch of them. Put it on the phone as your wallpaper and just write this word, listen, as a reminder. Put it all around you. And then after those 24 hours, I want you to journal your insights. What came up for you during that experience? And then if you'd like to share that with somebody else. Don't keep this shit to yourself. Teach it back. Share what you learned. This is what exactly I do with this podcast. I teach you back my experiences. Not because I know anything better, but because I found things that work for me. And my intention is to share that in case it may work for you. And if you find something different, cool. And if you listen to this and go, man, she's so full of shit. As I had someone say to me, what was it, a Facebook comment or an iTunes review? All she does is talk about herself. No shit. That's all I know, right? That's what I know is the life that I've lived and I continue to live and what has worked for me. So share up your insights, or if you want, share it with me. Facebook message me, send me an email, drkarenosborn@gmail.com, and see what happens with 24 hours of listening. So sister, if you don't already subscribe to the Women Wanting More newsletter, you need to. Get it VIP access, all the Women Wanting More of like the live events that are coming up, my book that's coming up, the website soon, masterclasses, webinars. So I want you to go ahead and do this. Head over to drkarenosborn.com/newsletter. So that's spelled drkarenosborn.com/newsletter. Big hill. You're going to enter your name and email, and I will get you connected up and hooked up on that today. Listen to me, sister. This is vital. Daily messages so you can really learn how to get more within your life. Allow me to share these experiences with you and really listen to what you're getting back from these messages. So I will talk to you in the next episode. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work, sister, every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.